I'm really delighted that as the keynote, we have someone who is actually one of the solutions that you find out there. He's an entrepreneur. He is a change maker. He is a pioneer. He has a business that's only been going for a couple of years, and it's called OpenClimat, or OpenClimat. And he's going to tell his story, and he's going to share how he's making a massive impact to set the context for this session on traceability and transparency. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Vincent Pappolla from OpenClimat.
Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. Thank you, James, for the introduction. I'm very happy to be here talking about a subject that means so much to me. Embracing transparency. What a great start of the day for all of us. As James introduced, I am the CEO and co-founder of OpenClimat. OpenClimat is an open information platform on which you can find information on companies' climate action. It is accessible to everyone, so that everyone can go and look for companies, what is carbon footprint, does it have reduction targets, where it stands today in terms of results, and what is the action plan to go further. So the idea here is to help everyone access companies' climate information on climate, but also on water and biodiversity. So obviously here today, these transparency topics means a lot to me. But what about you? I wanted to know, among you, who knows transparency? So among you, who knows what CDP, Climate Disclosure Project, is? Please raise your hand. OK, great. Who knows what the CSRD, the new EU regulation, is? And, OK. And who among you did fill a report for your company on CDP or CSRD? OK, there's a lot of you. That's good. Well, we all know it's a lot of information to disclose. That is very, very, very long to prepare. But today, you may find it counterintuitive. But I'm going to tell you why transparency will make you happy. It will make you thrive in a changing world. Did you ever wonder why, when there is a change in regulation with mandatory disclosure, some companies are so panicked, while some others seem so prepared? Why some companies are known for their ESG action, both externally and internally, while in some others, people from their own company doesn't know what their own company is doing for sustainability? Why is it that this is always the same companies, CSO, Chief Sustainability Officers, from Bouygues, from Accor, from Kering, that goes and make conferences and inspire us? And why is it that Bell, the manufacturer that produces La Vache qui rit, Babybel, why is it that it is Bell that made the first ever commercial contract with climate-linked conditions with the French retailer Carrefour? Why Bell? Why not Danone, that is 10 times larger? Well, all of these companies are not necessarily the best performance in terms of carbon reduction. So why them? They just got that transparency spirit in their corporate culture. Most of companies, most of the decision makers of the old world, for most of them, transparency defies all logic. It takes time. Transparent companies reveal their difficulties, their challenges in a world where companies are supposed to be champions. Transparent companies, they share their innovation to the outside in a competitive world. So despite all that, they do that. They do it, and they are happier doing it. Regardless of their size, regardless of their industries, transparent companies are the new leaders. They challenge the old ways of doing business. It takes courage, and it takes vision. But guess what? They are already rewarded for it. They all understood that we live in a world in transition. People understood that our economy is having impact on the environment, so that our companies are having impact on the environment. And so these impacts are very real. They impact the people in fine, and the people are the company stakeholders. So yes, people will continue to ask questions in how companies you are reducing your impact, and you will receive more and more questions. And answering may appear totally counterintuitive in the old way of doing business, but transparency is not about getting your industrial secrets. Transparency is something else. Your people want to know how you reduce their environment, they want to decarbonize, and they want to know if that's going to be with you. So great leader, yes, it's working again. So great leader, they just see transparency as an opportunity to take their full place in a changing world. By being transparent, they lead climate action, they act with their ecosystem. And because it's just the best way to tackle climate change. Imagine a world where all companies are transparent. Stakeholders can find any information on any company. They can understand it, they can compare it with the other company, and they can use it. In this world, it creates a virtuous dynamic of action. All this empowerment of the citizens, on the B2B clients, on the talents, it creates a virtuous dynamic of action. In such a world, companies share how they reduce emissions. In such a world, companies can inspire their competitors and be inspired by their competitors. So transparency is actually the fastest way to tackle climate change. And it just feels good to contribute, to be part of this world as a company, but also as an individual. It's just, you do it to scale climate action, obviously, but you do it for you. Secondly, and in a more pragmatic view, because we live in a world where the economy is a lot, and it means a lot, by being transparent, you can prove to the ecosystem what you do and that you meet their expectations. So you can take it as an opportunity to drive client preferences, to attract the best talents, and to make your people proud. So even business-wise, it all makes sense. And lastly, companies that are transparent, they just stop running after the next disclosure obligation. By being transparent, they understand one step ahead what the next questionnaire will be. If you're a big company, CSRD is coming, and then that's CSDDD, and then your retailer's questionnaire, and then your talent questionnaire. If you're small companies, you probably have questionnaires from your B2B clients, and then CSRD will impact your B2B clients, and then you have more questionnaires for them, and then the CSRD will impact on you. So transparent companies, they just anticipate. They have the time to understand why it's so important for their stakeholders. So they have the time to understand it, to prepare it, and making it more useful. Anticipate obligation, drive preferences from their clients, scale climate action. That's what transparency is about. That's all the benefits of transparency. I got an example for you. Bell, you know the manufacturing producer of Labashkiri and Bell. This is how Bell turned a very new and a very difficult data request from their retailers and turn it into the first ambitious collaboration between a manufacturer and a retailer, and they turned it into a commercial differentiator with their clients. 4 years ago, they developed the carbon tracking tool to sensitize their employees internally so that they can know all of their products, what is the carbon footprint on that, they can follow it, and they understand their impact as a team and as a brand. Thanks to that, 4 years later, retailers start to be aware of climate change, and they start sending questionnaires in order to get data from their manufacturer, because the carbon of Bell, when sold by the retailers, become the carbon of the retailer. And so when that trend comes, Bell are just prepared. They have all it takes to answer the needs of their retailers. And so they are the first that can address the expectations of the retailer. They are ahead of Danone, they are ahead of Nestlé, they are ahead of Unilever, and they're only a €3 billion turnover company. So thanks to this culture of transparency, they are ready for every reporting. They turned that into a very ambitious collaboration to scale climate action, and they turned that into a commercial agreement that is beneficial for them. And moreover, the word got out, and they are now among the leaders of the decarbonization of their sectors. And it's not all about the resources. It's not all about the climate maturity that you have. There are some good companies that are more performant than Bell in terms of carbon reduction, but that are less known. There are examples where good companies in terms of impact are penalized by their lack of transparency. The example of Danone. Danone is a 30 billion euro company, 10 times larger than Bell. In 2021, Oxfam, the NGO, published a report comparing the climate action of all companies from the CAC 40, the 40 largest companies in France. In this report, Danone happens to be not well ranked in this report. At the time, 2021, Danone is AAA rated on CDP for 5 years. They are one of the first to achieve their peak emissions in 2019, and since then, since that moment, they reduce at fast speed their carbon emission. So how come Danone ended up so poorly ranked? In the same, just near to Air France, the airplane company. If you expect all your stakeholders to go and see your annual reports, compare it of all companies, and get the right information, you're not transparent. And because here, it was with an NGO, but it could happen with talent ranking, it could happen with retailers, and that would be a shame for Danone. Transparency is a fantastic opportunity, but it's also a mindset, a culture. Bell could have said to their employees, oh no, it's expensive and we don't have the time to develop this carbon tracking tool. Just go and look to our annual reports and follow our impact. Well, they didn't. And now they turned a reporting ask for their retailers into a fantastic collaboration, into a commercial contract that is benefiting for them. So, because they were the best position, they are transparent, they are the best position to address the expectations of their ecosystem, they were ready for when the retailers were ready. Time made it happen, and guess what? It's accelerating at an exponential rate. And it's not me. The best part is not me. It's not my opinion. It's what the science says. It's in the holy book. The IPCC report from 2017, in the IPCC report, Global Warming of 1.5, you start to see the so-called shared socioeconomic pathways. So the experts said, okay, temperature rises, and the ecosystem will change, it will react. And they modelize this reaction with very precise forecast of socioeconomic changes. So for companies, it creates a lot of changes in their environment. So this is the environment of companies. There are physical risks, the outside world, impacted by climate change, but you also see finance, regulation, competition and new technologies, and the change of behavior of your clients, of your talents. This is the change that will impact companies with temperature rising. But reading the shared socioeconomic pathways, you can see how these changes will evolve. In 2017, we also saw some physical changes. We saw some finance with CDP starting in 2015, and regulation coming. But from 2016-17, we start to see the first concrete example of the changes of the ecosystem, of the clients' expectations, the talents, behavior, and competitive world. 2017, Walmart starts its Project Gigaton, asking its suppliers to fill very precise questionnaires. 2018, Pour un réveil écologique, the French Association of Students, with the top school, asked the same to the companies. 2019, you start to see in all the major all the major newspaper climate ranking of companies. And in the digital world, you even have this on search engine. You have the climate performance of your company. So it's on. And as we are working with OpenClimat, with all the ecosystem, we see this example multiplying. All the retailers are sending questionnaires. All the talents are now working and are concerned with by the climate action. So job boards integrate sustainability. Maybe tomorrow on LinkedIn. As we saw before, all the medias are doing that. And also consumers app and on the search engine. So maybe tomorrow on Google you will find the climate performance of your company. So start being company. All this ecosystem, they want to have the information. They want you to be transparent. So act with them. Be transparent. This is the best way for you to be resilient, and this is the best way to drive your client preferences. Your ecosystem is ready for you. Are you ready to open up? Stop grumping at transparency. Be part of this changing world. So yes, transparency will make you happy, as I said. These are transparent companies that are always one step ahead of the new reporting requirements. These are transparent companies that drive preferences from their clients. These are transparent companies that always anticipate obligation and stop running after the next regulation disclosure obligation. But we all know that no matter the arguments, no matter the benefits, changing is always hard. It's the human. It's human. So despite all that, we need to challenge the old mentalities. The human beings don't like changing habits. You know you'll be happier if you go more often to the gym, but you need a kicker to start and take good habits. So well, for that, sometimes the best way is to project ourselves in a few years if we don't make it. The Sorry Children campaign, so Sorry Children is a message that you write to your children to explain that even though we knew the consequences, we didn't act fast enough. Like, Sorry Children, we thought that climate strike would be enough. So this picture, it reminded me why I joined this fight, why we shifted, why we came into sustainability, young generation or not. So we need to challenge the old way of doing business, and we need to do it now. We don't have the time. So go to the gym, take this new transparency habit, because none of us wants to have to write a message on the sign in 10 years. To conclude, I wanted to finish with one of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals of the UN. There is one, and that is at the end of it, and there is a reason because it is at the end of it. It's because it enables all the others. This is partnerships for the goals, and it is all transparency is about. Thank you very much.